Welcome to the Tribe of Testimonies. Here you will find conversations with faithful Native American members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, sharing their stories and their love of the Savior. My name's Andrea Hales. I'm Navajo, and I'm glad that you've decided to come and join us today. My guest today is Sister Lana LaBelle. She lives in Canada. I really like talking to her. She's soft-spoken, and it just felt like she was thinking so many things, and she wanted to have the right words so that whoever is listening would know truth and goodness. And I really felt that come through with our conversation. She's a missionary in her group, and she is trying to get people to come back and stay active, and she just loves the people that she's around and wants the goodness for them. And I really felt that coming through all the things, and the Spirit just made me feel her love, and the Spirit made me feel that she's doing so much good in her little corner of the world, and I'm thankful for her. So here is my conversation with Sister Lana LaBelle. I am on the phone tonight with Sister Lana LaBelle, and she is in Canada. So I don't know very much about her, but the person that suggested that I contact her said that she's an amazing woman and I should reach out to her. And Sister LaBelle was so kind to be able to do this for us. So, Sister LaBelle, would you please introduce yourself in your tribal way as much as possible? If it's in your language, great. If it's not, that's okay. Not everybody speaks our language, and some languages are dead.
Okay. Ambawastet ina iwejese Yethka tazese wahpe sha ejabit. Adeses actuazes Yethka soundza ejabit. Nies mandatskana se tazeman kubise ina honguse hangesahya tahel etahna ze intasmantuments nisquasis ejabita hen sahya tumiana ejabita hen today hogam ihogam ina actas tasmantons ie actuze taze kubitaze in tasmantunka muyaze opeat ian to muya emandiabits menisni emandahans Yethka ingi abits nen menisni nen ombara wadvize in sakte enginabits miyama hattazet miyami papta wintabis nom ne engi abine that's nawahunse Yethka engi abine daha mahbia winta study ongi chichabitats ingi abine ze hanga I eskaze daha na nichi homintats mahbia winta study eyabita narhon etahna Yethkenwa ine opiwaginats. Yes, thank you. Hello, good day. My mother's traditional name is, she was named after the fall leaf. So the color, the changes of the colors on the leaves when it changes, she was named after that. And my father's name is pure white, like pure. He was named after like pure, with purity. And my name was given to me. I have two names. One when I was younger. The name was given to me after my maternal grandmother. She was half Yethka or Stony and half Cree, and her name was, she had a Cree name, Misquaces, and that was given to me when I was younger. And Misquaces means young girl. And later on, my mother renamed me after my grandfather, and his name was Ianto, and she named me after him, but she added the woman on the name, which means Ianto Wia. That means blue sky woman, and I was named after my paternal grandparents. And our language, we are from Minisni, which is Morley here in Alberta, Canada. Our language is called Yethka or Iiska, which means pure language. And I have heard that because our language was pure, we can communicate with the spirits heaven, in heaven, like, how do I say it? Heavenly spirits. We can communicate with them. And I am thankful that I can speak my language. And I'm grateful for that.
Oh, thank you. I love all the things that you just shared with us. I love how you're connected to your family through not just language, but through names, through like literally connected through your family with names. Especially since we just have been studying about the Old Testament, all the names that have been changed and the meaning associated with them, and I see that in you.
Thank you. You're right. I also was studying, and I like how Jacob's name is changed to Israel.
Yeah. What is one thing that you love about your heritage? It could be a story, a celebration, a way of life, a ceremony, pretty much anything. What's one thing that you love about your heritage, especially as it relates to the gospel of Jesus Christ?
It would be the ceremony Sundance. I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot and learned a lot through my mother. I love everything about it. So the first thing, what I love about it is that the Sundance danced on Easter Monday. My mother explained to me the sun dances because he rejoiced when Jesus was resurrected. So every Easter Monday, early in the morning, we would get up and watch and see the sun dance. And that just brings a lot of joy seeing that. And the Sundance ceremony, when they do the Sundance, it's very sacred. It's a respectable place, and we're taught to have that respect when we go there. Especially as a woman, you have to respect it. So there they would teach you to not to be laughing out loud, like being loud. You can't be loud. You can't be flirting. You can't be under the influence. But you need to have self-respect, respect for others, and you need to have reverence, and you need to help and serve with whoever is part of that Sundance. And in that Sundance, my mother remembers being at a Sundance as a child. She remembers the women would be riding on horses and helping, or they would all be dressed up, and they would be having or wearing sweetgrass in braids, and they would be wearing it across their how do I say it? Across their body, like at the top, like a necklace. And my mother says that sense, like that smell is so good, like the smell and everybody helping and doing things and working, that is powerful when I hear my mother's stories when she tells me as a young child about the Sundance. And they have a sacred tree. It's called Nimbita, which means life giver. And that represents Jesus Christ. And they would put that Nimbita in the center of the Sundance. And they would build the Sundance around it. And it's all with nature. And it is only done in the summertime when everything is green. And whoever dances or take part in that Sundance, they give up something. They give up something that they want to change in their life. And they would practice that for 1 whole year. They commit to do that for 1 whole year to make that changes in their life. And when they dance and they focus on that Nimbita, and they would pray and dance at the same time. And that Nimbita, when they put it in the center, it's cut down and they brought it to the ceremony area and they put it in the center. And then they would find the right area where they would find water. And from that Nimbita, water would pour out. And whoever is dancing or whoever's part of the Sundance will drink from that water, and they fast for 4 days. And with that water, it will help them to fast for 4 days. And that really is significant to me when it comes to the church, we go to church every Sunday to partake of the sacrament, to focus and to remember of our Savior Jesus Christ. And we drink that water. We take the bread and we take the water to always remember him. Every weekend, every Sunday, we can renew that. And by doing that, our Savior helps us overcome the changes we want to make in our lives. I share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know those things, so thank you for sharing that with us. So, like I said, your name was given to me by one of your friends, and she said that you are a great missionary in your area. Would you like to share some of those missionary experiences that you have had and how that has affected your life? Some of the stories that you've seen or experienced?
When we do missionary work out here, when we go visit my relatives, it's interesting when we go teach them and they would feel the Spirit, and I'm 100% for sure that they're going to get baptized on their baptismal date. Like, I'll be really overjoyed to see them get baptized. And for some reason, it doesn't happen that way. And sometimes when I feel like this person, I don't know if this person will or willing to get baptized. And then when I think like that, then it happens. Then I see them get baptized. And when I'm at their baptism, I always feel the Spirit. It's always good to see people you know get baptized. And it's so beautiful when they go in the water and coming out of the water, even the water itself is so beautiful. And that is a blessing to me. And just to be part of it and just being there is such a great blessing and a joy in my heart. And it's so good to do missionary work out here in my community. And I have a lot of relatives out here, and I just want them to all just to come and to get baptized. But it doesn't work that way. Like our prophet said that it's an individual matter, like an individual conversion to come on to Christ. We can't force anyone. They have to make their choice. And I understand that. And I just need to have patience and just continue sharing the gospel in my community. Thank you.
Yeah. So you live right on your reserve, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's the population of your reserve and how big is it?
I'm not too sure how big it is. I should know, but I don't.
That's okay.
And the population is about 6,000. And I know that some of them don't live on the reserve. They live outside the reserve, like in the city.
Uh-huh.
So they don't all live in the reserve.
How big are you in a ward or in a branch?
We have a group out here. It's a small group.
Uh-huh.
And there's about 25 to 30 people that come out to church. And that's good. It's just it's growing, but it's growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, besides missionary, what other callings, what other functions do you perform as one of this small group that meets out there?
Right now, we started a addiction recovery program out here, and we have it on every Thursdays at 6:30. So it just started this year in January. We have experienced a lot of death on addictions, and it's more than people that passed away with COVID. And it's really devastating, and it's affecting families and the whole community. And so we have that addiction program out here to help people, to help families, to help the community. And also, it's not just for alcohol and drugs. It's also for like gambling, addiction to social media, or pornography, or Netflix, or Facebook, like all those things. It can help. It can help with the addiction recovery program. And I'm also going to be part of a translating in Yethka of the family proclamation. So that's we're just starting on that this month, and I'm hoping that would work out and people can hear it in our language about the family proclamation.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to translate that just audio, or are you going to also do it type?
Type.
Because that would be really, really wonderful to be able to share through our social media as well. I'd love to be able to share that for you.
Okay. Yeah, I will share it with you when we're done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right before we started recording, Lana was telling me that she was spending time with her mom. Can you tell us, do you have a good relationship with your mom? How does your mom play a part in your life?
Our mother, my parents were baptized back in 1972. And as a child, I remember she always teaches about the stories in the Bible. So she planted those seeds about there's a God, and that we have a spirit, and our spirit will continue. Like she taught us that at the very beginning. And my parents became inactive, and in the early 90s, we started to go back to church slowly. And I got baptized in 1989. So after I got baptized, not too long, in the 1990s, we started to go back to church. And about 6 years ago, my mom was looking after my father really good. Like my parents were in residential school, and my mother doesn't miss having breakfast, lunch, and supper. And she's a cook, She's done a lot of being assessed out here on the reserve or in the community. She worked at a what do you call that? A treatment center.
Mm-hmm.
And she worked at a wilderness center, and she did Meals on Wheels for elders, and she worked at a restaurant. So she loves cooking. And when my father got sick, we didn't know he was sick at that time. And my mother was just taking really good care of him, and we thought he was okay until the doctors did some tests, and they told us that my father had dementia. And that's when everything, like, the doctor said, our father had dementia for a while. And all this time, our mother was doing the best she can to look after our father. And she looked after him really good that we can't even see that he had dementia. And after the doctor mentioned it, that's when it gotten worse. And I helped out. Before he got worse, I was helping them out, taking them to their doctor's appointment, grocery shopping, or taking them out to do what they need to do. And it got to a point where my father was getting worse with dementia, that I had to start feeding him.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said he has to be in a home because my mom is too old to look after him. And that was pretty hard on us, but my mother finally seen the effects of the dementia on my father. He would get up 3 a.m. in the morning, and he would start to try to feed himself, or sometimes he would go outside and start knocking on the door, and my mother started to become really concerned, and we had to put him in a home. And 6 months after, my father passed away. So he didn't really suffer that long in a home. And now my mother, I am helping. I'm still trying to do the same thing. I try to continue what I did before, taking her doctor's appointment, grocery shopping. I try to do house chores for her, and she really depends on me. She's so used to me. When my siblings will tell her, I'll take you to your appointment, and she'll say, no, you can't do that. She's going to take me. And she always favors me, and that's really hard, hard on me.
Yeah.
Or if my nieces go there to help her with her chores, she'll tell them, no, my house is clean, don't worry about it. She's going to come here and do the cleaning for me. So she really depends on me and favors me. And that's good, but on the side, I need that extra help myself. And I tell her, why don't you just come live with me? And she tells me she's so used to her home, she doesn't want to leave. And she lives with my brother and my brother's son, and they do all they can to help her out. And I'm thankful for that they're there for her, and that protection is there, and they try the best they can to help her out. And I see that teachings are true when they say when your parents become elders, they go back as a child and they need that help like a child. And that is so true, like feeding my father and helping my mother. Like she's in a wheelchair. Like I really have to just be there for her and make sure that she has my attention. And like it's true, they turn back into a child, and that's how I see my parents. And I'm grateful for that, to see my parents grow old and having these experiences. It's not easy, and to look after elders, it's the same as being a parent. You can't be lazy. You can't do what you want to do when you're with them. You have to give them full attention, and you have to try to have that understanding when you're communicating. Like sometimes they might get confused, and you have to stop and tell them it's okay, and you explain to them so they can know and understand what's happening. And I learn all this by my life experience with my elderly parents.
As you were talking about that, I was thinking about how when we, if we've done the best we can and we are allowed to reach the celestial kingdom and have be able to be gods and goddesses ourselves, that this compassion, this learned compassion that we've had through all of our life, and learning to treat everybody the right way, this is going to help us to be loving heavenly parents sometime. So I was just envisioning that as you were saying that. And I also was thinking about how our highest church leadership are all elders who've had many life experiences themselves, and so that they can understand and talk to us on a personal level about things that they've experienced as well. So I just envisioned these things as you were talking and sharing your experience with your parents.
I agree with you.
You said that your parents started going back to church when in the 90s. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have brothers and sisters who are active members of the church?
My brother got baptized last year in March, and he's been active, so that's really good. And my mother's really happy to see my brother even administering the sacrament. My mother's really grateful to see my brother do that. And my two sisters, they come when they can, and it seems like my sisters have greater challenges to come. And I would try to force them to come, but it doesn't work that way. And I was just thinking today, while sitting in church, that I can't be I can't be harsh or telling them this way is right. I can't be saying those things to them, to my sisters, but I can share the gospel in a loving, kind, and caring way so they can feel that spirit. And I try to do that most times so they can come back to church with their families. And they in their mind want to come back, want to come to church. But like I said, it seems like they always have challenges, like out of nowhere something just happens and they won't be able to come, like health challenges or just something just happens. But one day they'll come. And I also did a video about this temple in Cardston that was built specifically for Lamanites or First Nations. And it was dedicated. And next year, 2023, will be 100 years since they dedicated that temple here in Alberta to First Nations. And next year, they want a lot of Lamanites or First Nations to be filled in all temples. And that's why I want my sisters to come and to be part of that. So I still have that hope that I can see that happening next year, to see my sisters in the temple and be sealed to my parents.
That would be an amazing blessing.
Mm-hmm.
How many children do you have?
I have 3. I have 2 boys and 1 girl, and she's in the middle. And they're all adults. My youngest is 19, and my oldest is 27. So they're adults, and my mother always asks me, "What are you gonna do if all your kids leave? What's gonna happen to you?" And I never thought of that, and I would tell her, "Don't say that. I don't want to think about that."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess she's trying to prepare for me for the empty nest, I guess. They're home. My eldest was away about a year for work, and he returned home. And my daughter might be going away for college in the fall. And my youngest might be moving in town. So, but right now I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, no. Have they stayed in the gospel?
They're all members. So my daughter is active, and my oldest son, he always have work on Sundays. And my youngest, he's not active, but he's doing okay. I always tell my kids to come to church. I want to see my sons pass the sacrament, and I want them to be part of that for next year, for the First Nations to fill the temples next year. I want them to be part of that also.
Yeah, that would be the best blessing I think a parent could have. So you had mentioned that there were some things that you might want to do even more in your life, that you might have goals in your life. Do you want to share any of those goals, like education or career goals?
Right now, I'm working on getting my life insurance license, and I really want that. I really want to have that life insurance license. It will help me to help my community, and it can make a big difference in people's lives. And I also want to go back to school and probably do some upgrading and have a career, like something I can help with people. Like I worked at a women's shelter before, and I don't think I can do shift work or how do I say it? Be in that environment where I know that there's violence happening, and I want to have a job where it is healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I want to be in a job where I can feel safe, and that can help me grow in every way. I just want to pursue my education, like with upgrading, and maybe then I might know what I want to do. But for now, I still need that motivation to do something. So hopefully soon, I am slowly working on getting my life insurance license. Really slow, like a turtle. So maybe this spring I can receive my license, and then maybe in the fall I can do some upgrading, maybe online, and then go from there.
I think it's wonderful that you want to do that at this time in your life. I think that's great, because I think the more we challenge ourselves and seek to improve, the better, the more refined we become. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have one final question for you. What does it mean to you to know that you belong to the tribe of Israel?
When I mentioned about my mother teaching us the Bible stories when I was a child, when she taught about us, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, even Joseph, as a child, I felt like these people were distant, way out there, and I felt like I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. And I felt like I have no connection with them. And now I've learned through the gospel that they are my forefathers. When I learned that, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, what? But when the missionary couple taught me that, when I was going back to church in the 90s, when we were going through the Book of Mormon, they said Lehi is a dead descendant of Joseph, and all First Nations, that's our lineage. And I was so surprised. I'm like, what? Here all along, I felt like these were distant people, but that was my lineage. And I am, like, when I learned Joseph had dreams, and our First Nations have dreams. Even my mother has dreams. My mother had a dream. In her dream, she was told, when you see this tree old and dying, you will hear about tornadoes getting off. Not just one, not two, but three. You'll hear them, but it won't be near you. And my mother told us that dream. And then probably like 15 years after, or 20, she said, remember I had that dream about that tree? That tree is old now. And then not too long, we've seen on the news that 3 tornadoes getting off in the United States. And I was like, wow, my mother was told, and it happened. And I told my mother, remember what you said about the tornadoes? There's stories about it in the States that there are tornadoes happening like that. Not 1, not 2, but 3 even. And so I really believe that we are descended through Joseph, who had dreams to save the people from famine. So I really believe in that. I really accept that we are descendant and we are part of the Israel. And I'm still learning about it. And the meaning of Israel, to let God prevail in your life. I'm still learning about that. And I'm learning to trust more in God in my life. And now our prophet, President Nelson, said to help gather Israel. And that's what I'm trying to do. When I remember. And this is why I want my relatives to come to know and to learn about the gospel, the restored gospel on earth, that Jesus restored his church on earth, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, through the prophet Joseph Smith. And I'm so grateful for the Book of Mormon that taught me a lot, even about the Gentiles, how the work they do. And there's one as lately we've heard a lot about the residential schools and the abuse that had happened, and children were being murdered, and that really bothered me. And people were, when we share the gospel, they would put that, and they would say, what about this? This happened. And that kind of disturbed me, like, and I prayed and I asked God that I want something, I want an answer. And this is the answer I got in 2 Nephi 33 and 9. And this is what Nephi said, and it made sense, and it made everything clear for me. And this is what it says. I also have charity for the Gentiles, but behold, for none of these can I hope, except they shall be reconciled unto Christ, and enter into the narrow gate, and walk in the straight path which leads to life, and continue in the path until the end of the day of probation. That really answered my prayers. When a person reconciles to God, a Gentile like our leaders, I see that in them, and I can trust them, and I know that they are following Christ. They are doing all they can to do God's work, and that has really helped me to overcome what was bothering me regarding the abuses that happen in residential school. And even me, I need to walk in that path. I need to do that for myself too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony, for teaching us. I really, really appreciate that. For all that you've shared with us, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
So I'm recording this on Sunday night, and today at church, at Sunday school, we were talking about celestial marriage for part of our lesson because of all the stories we've had recently about the prophets in our Old Testament who looked for a virtuous woman so that they could have a celestial marriage, so they could have an eternal marriage. At one point, our teacher asked us, what does a good marriage look like? And there were some answers. And then there is a sister in our ward who is a older young single adult. She's just beautiful inside and out, and I admire her. Anyway, she raised her hand, and she laughed and said, I'm an expert on marriage, and I know that she would like to be married, but she went straight to the family proclamation on the world. It says successful marriages and families are established and maintained on principles of faith, family, prayer, repentance, forgiveness, respect, love, compassion, work, and wholesome recreational activities. I really appreciated that she brought that up because I was thinking the same thing. I just saw in that moment that she's looking for that in her eternal spouse that she hopes to one day find. That she can find that person. That really touched my heart, and the Spirit witnessed that was true. Anyway, so that was something that I wanted to share with you because I'm grateful for that testimony. And I just want you to have a super wonderful, awesome week. Tribe of Testimonies is not affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The music is a traditional hymn, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, arranged and performed by Kyle Forsyth. If you know someone who might be interested in being a guest, please reach out to me at tribeoftestimonies@gmail.com.